For 500 years, the biggest empires on Earth have risen, peaked, and then slipped. Not overnight. Not at random. In rhythms. Economists and historians call one version of that rhythm the seven-stage collapse pattern. In this episode, we are not predicting any country's future. We are reverse engineering the mechanism behind the pattern. Layer A is history, what actually happened on the record. Layer B is conditional scenarios, what might happen if certain gates keep tightening. And every statement gets a tag: verified, depends, or unknown. This is educational storytelling, not financial advice. The visuals you see are AI-generated reenactments and diagrams, not real footage. So what exactly is this seven-stage pattern? And why does it show up in so many different empires? Let's start with a single, simple idea. Every empire runs on cash flow and promises. Cash comes in through taxes, trade, and borrowing. Promises go out to citizens, creditors, allies, and the military. Between them are gates, places where pressure builds up. The seven stages are just a way to label where the pressure moves. They are a map of risk concentration, not a fortune teller. Stage 1. Stage 1. Overconfidence and expansion. The empire has momentum. Trade is growing, technology spreads, territory or influence expands. Layer A. We can clearly see this stage in many past empires, through rising spending and global reach. Layer B. Today, this stage might show up as long-term commitments that assume growth never slows. Mechanism. Leaders upgrade promises faster than they upgrade resilience. Taxes and borrowing both rise, but the system feels invincible. Myth. This is the safest, strongest moment. Reality. This is when habits form that are hard to reverse later. On our meter, much of Stage 1 is verified by history. The open question, the depends, is how long it lasts before pressure moves to Stage 2. Short pause. Stage 2. Fiscal strain and hidden deficits. Growth slows or becomes uneven, but promises remain. Layer A. Spending stays high, deficits widen, accounting becomes more complex. Layer B. New off-balance sheet obligations appear, pensions, guarantees, implicit backstops. Mechanism. To avoid saying no, the system hides the true cost in the future. Tax increases hit limits. Borrowing fills the gap. Myth. Smart debt management can postpone pain forever. Reality. Fiscal strain is a gate, not a wall, but it shifts pressure into the currency and asset system. On our meter, the existence of this strain is verified. What depends is how transparently a country deals with it. Some systems admit the pain early, others push it into the dark corners of the balance sheet. Stage 3, monetary stretch and currency erosion. The empire leans more on its central bank and its currency privilege. Layer A, we see rising balance sheets, more frequent interventions, and a global search for yield. Layer B, if trust holds, the system can extend this stage for years. Mechanism, instead of defaulting openly, the system tries to dilute obligations through inflation and financial engineering. Foreign creditors start to diversify, slowly at first. Myth, as long as your currency is the reserve currency, there is no hard limit. Reality, reserve status buys time, not immunity. On our meter, the basic pattern is verified by multiple reserve currencies in history. What is unknown is the exact threshold where confidence quietly starts to drain away. Here is the key reveal that makes the 7-stage pattern useful and dangerous. The pattern does not tell you which year an empire will collapse. It tells you where the pressure is currently concentrating. Two empires can be at the same numbered stage for completely different lengths of time. One can live in stage 3 for decades. Another can rush through from stage 3 to stage 7 in a few brutal years. Calling out a stage is not the same as predicting a date. It is like marking the narrowest gate in a crowded hallway. The crowd may pass through, slowly and safely. Or someone may panic and things move fast. So when you see videos saying, a country is at stage 5, ask a better question. Which gate is actually tight right now? Fiscal, monetary, asset, social, or external? And how much slack remains in the system before real constraints bite? With that framing in mind, we can safely look at stages 4 through 7 without pretending we know the exact date or the exact country. Stage 4. Stage 4, asset bubbles and inequality surges. Cheap money and long expansions inflate housing, stocks, or other assets. Layer A, we can see this. In multiple past cycles, prices outrun incomes. Leverage builds quietly. Layer B, if policy leans toward protecting asset prices, the gap between asset owners and everyone else widens. Mechanism, financial assets become the shock absorber instead of the currency or the budget. Myth, as long as central banks stand ready, big crashes can always be avoided. Reality, support tools often come with side effects that deepen inequality and political frustration. On our meter, the link between bubbles and frustration is verified. What depends is how societies choose to share the burden when bubbles deflate. Some systems spread the losses slowly, others let them land brutally on one group. As pressure builds, it spills into stage 5. Stage 5, social fracture and political gridlock. Different groups feel the system is rigged for someone else. Layer A. History records rising polarization, mistrust in institutions, and harder negotiations over budgets. Layer B. If leaders cannot coordinate, even small shocks become hard to manage. Mechanism. Instead of fighting over external enemies, factions fight over how to divide, a slower growing pie. Myth. Political drama is just noise and never affects real stability. Reality. Gridlock is a real gate. It slows or blocks policy responses when they are needed most. On our meter, the link between severe gridlock and later crises is supported, but still partial. Much depends on how quickly institutions can reset incentives. Some systems find new coalitions. Others get stuck in confrontation mode. If they cannot adjust, pressure moves to Stage 6. Stage 6. External shock and credibility test. A war, a pandemic, an energy shock, or a financial seizure from outside hits the system. Layer A. History is full of empires. That looked stable until an external event stress-tested them. Layer B. The same shock can be survivable for one system and fatal for another, depending on how much slack remained. Mechanism. The shock exposes whether the earlier stages were managed or simply hidden. Foreign lenders, allies, and trading partners all update their beliefs at once. Myth. The external shock is the real villain. Reality. The shock is the trigger. The vulnerability was built over many years. Our meter calls the existence of such shocks verified. Their timing is unknown. How leaders respond often decides whether Stage 7 is gradual or sudden. Stage 7. Reset, default, or regime change. This is where old promises are rewritten through inflation, restructuring, currency change, or institutional overhaul. Layer A. History shows many forms of reset, from formal defaults to quiet policy shifts. Layer B. In the moment, it rarely feels like a clean, cinematic collapse. Mechanism. The system chooses which promises to keep, which to dilute, and which to abandon. Myth. Every empire ends in a single dramatic day. Reality. Many resets unfold over years, with long echoes. Our meter treats resets as verified. What remains unknown is which form and how fast. The pattern stops here, but life in the next system continues. So the real question is not, will collapse happen? But which gates are tightening now, and what choices remain? Now, let's talk about signals, because this is where patterns get abused. Media and social networks love dramatic warning signs. 10 charts that prove everything will crash next year. 7 signs your country is doomed. But many of these are just noisy reflections of deeper gates. Instead of memorizing every signal, we can classify them. Some signals are sentiment, how people feel. Some are flow, how money and credit are actually moving. Some are structure, who holds the risk, and on what terms. A healthy pattern reader asks 3 questions. First, which stage does this signal belong to? Second, does it show a temporary spike or a structural shift? Third, does it narrow a gate that was already tight? If a signal does not move a gate, it may not deserve the headline. If it tightens a gate that was already under pressure, it matters more. This way, you can watch Empire News without being whiplashed every week. You move from fear to framework. Let's compress the 7-stage pattern into a 5-step checklist you can use calmly. Step 1. Identify which gate is doing the most work right now: fiscal, monetary, asset, social, or external. Step 2. Map that gate to its nearest stage on the arc. Step 3. Look backward. How did past empires behave at this stage? Step 4. Look forward. What policy choices widen or narrow this gate? Step 5. Remember the assumption meter. Separate what we know from what only feels likely. If you remember one line from this episode, make it this. The 7-stage pattern is a map of pressure, not a calendar. History rhymes because mechanisms repeat, not because destiny is fixed. You do not need to live in fear of every headline. You only need to learn which gates matter and how they move. If you want to revisit the key twist, jump back to the reveal chapter. If you want a practical tool, replay the checklist chapter with a notebook. Everything here is for education, not for trading or investment decisions. If you enjoyed this breakdown, there is a whole series of empire and currency episodes coming. In the comments, answer one question in a single word. Which gate do you think matters most right now? Fiscal, monetary, assets, social, or external? Your answers help decide which mechanism we break down next. No drama, only systems. End screen in 3, 2, 1. Thanks for spending your time with Process Colossus. See you in the next breakdown.